Change is weird. One day you're absolutely fine, and the next day you're asking, why is my life like this? If you're going through a big shift or a change, believe me, you're not alone. I've been adulting for a long time, and I've been through a lot of changes. So today's video is all about dealing with change and asking if you have the emotional bandwidth to deal without chaos or losing your ever-loving mind. For starters, change isn't chaos. It's basically information, and it reveals what's no longer aligned. People don't fear the change. They fear the in-between. They ask, am I doing the right thing? It's that feeling of being in limbo or the uncertainty. Am I doing it the right way? Big changes can be things like a move, a change in job or career, a relationship loss, or starting a relationship, a loss of a loved one. When my mom passed away 2.5 years ago, I went to a counselor, and she said a lot of people, when they lose that second parent, my dad had died about 12 years before, when they lose that second parent, they kind of feel like an orphan. Now, I didn't feel that way because I've been very independent for many, many years, but I certainly can understand a person feeling that way. You know, when you're in the middle of change, it's like old routines don't quite fit anymore, and new routines haven't completely formed. You know, your identity tends to get a little blurry, and once again, you know, you're asking, am I doing it the right way? You know, you're forming that new version of you, that context of change. My husband Ernie and I, we've been looking at making a move from where we live to another city, and there's a lot of trade-offs involved. The cost of living is higher where we're going. The weather is different, which in some ways is beneficial, and in other ways, the winter is more wintry than what we're accustomed to. There's leaving friendships. Of course, you know, with technology and Zoom and things like that, you can always connect with them. But you can't just call and say, hey, let's get together for a Starbucks, you know, if you're a long distance away, right? There's many other factors. So we're considering all kinds of things in making this decision. Some of the trade-offs are beneficial. Others, not so much. You know, it's like we really don't have a home base for this decision yet. The in-between is the hardest part. The actual change itself is just a moment. We moved almost 2 years ago, and we slightly downsized. Now, in the process of moving, I packed 100 boxes and moved them into a storage unit just because we thought, you know, we're seniors, and so we probably couldn't handle the whole move all in one day by ourselves. And, you know, hiring people to help you with everything gets more and more expensive with every box they lift. So I moved them all into a storage unit, and then the moving day came where they moved all the big stuff, and then I started unpacking the storage unit so that it kind of spread out the moving. And we don't live in a big house. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. But because the square footage is a little bit less and the organization and closets and wall space was different, I had to get rid of some furniture. I had to get rid of some art pieces I liked. I had to get rid of books, which, you know, as a former book coach, I mean, I love books, right? So, you know, that was a big change for me. I'll give you another example. The process of divorce, which I've been through many years ago, can be absolutely crazy making. But believe me, there absolutely is happiness on the other side. Another example, you know, when you're in the middle of change, you're kind of like in that messy middle. And one example I like to give is remodeling a kitchen. And if you've never remodeled the kitchen before, go watch a show on HGTV and you'll see it's like they destroy everything and it looks like horrible. It looks like heck, and then it starts looking beautiful. But in the process, there's a loss of what's familiar, and it can feel like you have less control, less certainty over what's going on, right? Our nervous systems have a tendency to react with heightened sensitivity. We have a tendency to kind of overthink things and feel off. And many people, what they try to do in the middle of this is like rush through, or they try to recreate their former life, or they try to normalize it, what you're doing is changing, and your capacity expands when you stop pretending that everything is perfect and you're just fine. You're not. It's different. Okay, here's a few things that help along the way. Acknowledge, hey, you know what? Life is kind of weird right now, but that's okay. It's going to get better. Okay? Take time to breathe, even if it's just for 5 seconds. Envision a better life for yourself, the finished kitchen, the great new career, the marriage, the divorce. It'll be better when it's done, and it really, really will. So another thing that helps along the way is that I have found works is make decisions one at a time. You don't have to rush yourself through it. And one of the things I've learned the last couple years when people are always pressuring me for decisions about things is it's okay to say, I don't know. There's a point at which, there's like this drop dead moment where you really do have to make a decision. But for a while, it's okay to say, I don't know. It's fine, right? Another thing that helps is to maintain some structure in your life, something that you look forward to. For me, every morning at 6 a.m., it's tea time. All right. If I'm awake, if I'm asleep, which most of the time I'm awake, I've always been an early riser. It's tea time for me at 6 o'clock. Whether I make it myself or if Ernie is up before me and he brings it to me, which he does often. When we travel, I bring my favorite tea bags and a travel cup. And maintaining that structure is like hanging on to a chunk of your identity, right? And one of the other things that has really helped me the last few years is that I am now in the habit of exercising on a daily basis. I would say about 6 days a week, because some days it'll be 7 days, and then the next week 7 days, and the next week 7 days, but then the week after it's maybe 5 days, right? So anyway, if you feel unsettled, it's okay. You're in the messy middle right now, and that's where the real change happens. So I hope this helps you. If it does, please feel free to like, subscribe to the channel, or share it with someone who needs it. Also, comments are always appreciated. I read all of them and I respond to almost all of them. This is Denise. What I wish I knew at 30 on YouTube. And hey, I believe in you.